Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today's an episode 144. In today's episode, we are going to talk about something that we often miss on this journey. It's about one stage that happens on your spiritual awakening part that is very uncomfortable, very lonely, and very empty. We know that on Twin Flame journey and on your spiritual awakening journey, there is a lot of, there are stages. There are stages of meeting your twin flame, having the honeymoon phase, or when you have this awakening inside of you that you feel the love, you feel the connection, everything all of a sudden makes sense, you feel one with the world. You feel so much love that you never felt before. And then comes the part of you where comes the so-called separation, where you feel the pain you never felt before and you don't know how to deal with this pain. And then comes the part of integration of your energy, doing the meditations, connecting, starting to understand the ego death, all of that. But there is a part of the journey that comes in, which I like calling a gray area. It's a time where the old has not yet faded away and the new hasn't arrived. And you are somewhere in between there. And today I will talk about it, what happens to you in the sense of spiritually, also what happens in your body, and why is it actually a very normal state, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. I want to also say that the most important is that we will listen ourselves. This is the idea of this podcast. It's not about me telling you the truth, how to be, what to do. It's about finding your own truth, what will help you. And another thing over here is that when you are here today and you hear that podcast, it's there for a reason. I want to just say that we have arrived to the Leo new moon. Those of you who have been outside, there is a new moon in Leo. And we know that 8th of August, 8-8 portal is here. It's one of the most powerful manifestation portal. But it starts already now with that Leo moon. It's activated, it's amplifying. So I would like to remind you, each one of you, please schedule yourself the meditations. Schedule yourself time to be with yourself. Energy activations right now, whether it's Reiki, Kundalini activation, Kundalini yoga, anything that will amplify your energy, breath work, do it now and do it daily. Another day when I was channeling, there was this message coming through, and I just want to say that it's not, I will explain that a little bit, but we often can go like, but nothing is changing in my life, nothing is happening, everything is going worse. But what if you look at from the perspective that maybe that is falling apart, that something magical can arrive because I am uplifting my energy? Think of it this way. Think of it that what is falling apart right now is falling apart for you to liberate you, that you could attract the highest possible outcome. On 8th of August, we do have a Lionsgate event. Unfortunately, we are sold out. My event is sold out unless we get more facilitators to come. Again, I'm going to say, those who are following me on Instagram or on Patreon, I always send out the information first for Patreon supporters, because everyone who supports this channel has a, let's say, a priority pass. Because of you, this podcast can be alive. Because of you, all of the tools that I need to use are paid, and so your support helps to keep this alive. So thank you so much for this. But Lionsgate on 8-8, don't forget that. I remember me being on this journey, and so much shifted for me on 8th of August. And I didn't even know that it exists. But now, as I'm on these energies, and when so many things shifted for me, I realized, wow, it's a very powerful time. And ancient Egyptians, they knew that. They worked with this energy. For them, it was the time where you can manifest the highest possible things, and you can see how the pyramids are built with a serious speed that it's going on top there. So it's a very powerful time. But now let's go into, if you happen to be, and even if you are not there today, and you're listening, you're like, no, I don't feel any of this, this is not happening to me, then this can come to you later on, and especially after a strong energetic works or shifts. So there comes a moment on this path, whether you call it just on your spiritual awakening or on the twin flame journey. I actually wanted to mention something because I know I have people here who are listening to this podcast who haven't met their twin flame or are not activated by the twin flame. And I'm going to say your spiritual awakening can happen not meeting your twin flame either. I am going to put more information about what is happening in our body, what is the spiritual awakening on this podcast. Because I see that one part is the twin flame, but the other part is also how many of us are awakening through just that is a time there. And so whether it is your spiritual awakening or the twin flame journey when you get activated, and so somehow everything that you have been identifying yourself and you thought you knew about love, you knew about everything, you knew about all of this, somehow has crumbled. And by this, I don't just mean your job or your relationships or your sense of purpose, like what you thought you were. It's kind of like the very deep layers of your identity. The version of you that you once knew how to survive in this world, you were in this survival mode. You knew what to do, what to chase, what to run from. And now all of a sudden this no longer functions. And you feel completely empty. And that's why I call this gray area. Another day I was telling to a person that think of this a little bit like you have left this human element. You have died, literally, physically died. Your energy never dies, but you're physically died. And now you have left the body. But you haven't found a new body yet. You haven't found a new avatar you want to come in. So you are just energy. You have no identity. You have nothing. You are just a bliss. And at the same time empty. It's like a paradox. But when we are alive, like in that sense the human, there is something what starts to happen that we feel that this is a bad time. I remember what happened when it happened to me. It lasted about 7 months for me. And it's a very empty time. It's like time stands still. You're very tired. All you want to do is somehow sleep. You become more withdrawn. You also question about the twin flame. You might feel their energy less. You don't have anymore that much of this chasing. You're tired. And this is the space we don't often speak about it. You hear all of the stages. You hear the stage of where you're chasing and running and trying to find all of the answers. But this is the stage of gray area. And it's not filled with a lot of feelings and chaos. And it's not like explosive like your dark night of the soul. So that's why it's like you have come through that dark night of the soul. So much has happened and now... And it's not like the bliss of union or excitement of that, oh, wow, so much is happening. I'm so happy. So much is moving. It's more about where you feel you just exist. And that's the space between death and rebirth. A space between timelines, stories. Somehow who you were before and now who you are being asked to become. And in this space, there is just silence. And I know that sometimes we hear that on this twin flame journey that your twin flame will reach out, or the change will start happen when you surrender and you just let it, like you let it go. And sometimes you feel like, oh, but I'm not thinking of your twin flame. I've moved on. I do all of that. But somehow you still don't hear from them, or nothing is happening. But that stage, what I'm talking today, is one of the important stage, and I will explain you why. We know that twin flame journey, we know that spiritual awakening is intense, and there is a reason for that. And when we are in this silence, but it's not kind of the silence like it feels peaceful or affirming that, yeah, you're going on the right direction, you're doing well. This is the silence that actually starts to make you question a lot of things and everything, and you feel like you're doing something wrong. You start wondering if there's something wrong with me. Why I don't feel like my old self anymore. Why the triggers you used to have don't hit anymore the same way. Why the pain is not as strong, but there is no joy either. Like nothing is happening. And they tell me that something magical is gonna happen, I'm aligning and all of this, but nothing is happening. I'm feeling so empty. All I wanna do is just to be. And it's kind of like you're walking through the life half present, half absent. And then you start maybe thinking, maybe I should go back. Maybe I should feel sad. Maybe I should feel the pain. Maybe something is wrong with me. And then the new self that is starting to form. Like think of yourself like the baby that is coming to this world. Like I said, you are dead. Your body wanders around for a while. Maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year, 2 years. And then it takes a new avatar. And it says, no, that's not it. You're just not there anymore. It doesn't exist, but our mind remembers that it exists. So the mind, and this is a very dangerous part, your mind wants you to feel the pain, the chasing, all of that. But when we have energetically shifted, you don't feel this anymore. And that's one of the reasons why I talk about doing the energy activations, why I talk about Kundalini, why I talk about nervous system, what Kundalini does, the inner dance. Why? Because it shifts your whole energetic body. And then your mind might remember, but your body doesn't anymore. And that's the difference. And so somehow you're going to be stuck in between two worlds. You think that, oh, my old self was like this. I felt that, I had this. But you don't know the new yet. And from a spiritual perspective, in a way, that this gray area that's going to happen is not like a punishment or a mistake. It is a time and there's a reason for this. So keep listening. And this is the space where integration happens. You know, even after, when you do a Kundalini yoga, or you go to yoga classes, or you go to, you do spiritual, like even retreats and everything, what starts to happen to you afterwards, we always need to lie down. Savasana is one of the most important yoga poses, actually, lying down. Why? Because that's where the integration can happen. If you keep on doing, if you keep on thinking, if you keep on pushing, nothing somehow is going to happen. Because no soul can shift from distraction to creation overnight. We know that the Shiva, we know that Twin Flame Journey is about Shiva and Shakti, the energy. And Shiva is the one who destroys and then rebuilds. So think of it. Nothing can come new before it's destroyed, and nothing will be rebuilt overnight. So no heart can go from breaking open to overflowing without first going through stillness. The old nervous system, the old energy patterns, the survival codes that you had, They all need a time to go out of you. They need to dissolve. And the new frequency, the new embodiment, needs time to root. And it needs time. So that's why I always say, this is why, in my perspective, and again, I'm not going to force that to anyone. I know that when your soul is ready, whether it's me who does the activation, whether it's somebody else, whether it's yourself, whether it's your twin, however it's going to happen, your body knows. But for me, how I see that is, because it's always continuous. A lot of people asking, how often should I do the energy activation? We see how often your body, your soul needs. Somehow, once a month is good to keep it up. Because it lasts about 21 days, 21, 28 days you are in that state. So now the question is, why are you feeling so disoriented? Why do you feeling so empty on this time? Because you're being taken away from this old identity. And you're being given the essence, the new essence of yours, the essence, the pure version of yours. And I'm going to say that normally during this period of silence, the silence is the loudest. But silence is where are the answers. And it's not like a dark night of the soul. Dark night of the soul is where we feel a lot of pain, purging, a lot is coming up. And just to remind you, we don't have only one dark night of the soul. There is again, it's not linear process. None of the spiritual awakenings are linear. But let's just talk about today of this emptiness. And the essence is not one that is screaming and telling. It doesn't rush. It's a very silent. And it's in the present moment. Everything from here on is present. It's going to teach you to become one within you. That's why you feel tired. That's why you feel empty. That's why you feel lonely. You might be losing your job. You might have the hardest time in certain ways. But at the same time, you're like, I don't care anymore. I really don't. And it's scary because this journey is often lonely. And first, we don't really understand this because we are conditioned to believe. This is another thing I often hear when people come to the calls with me or we connect to. They say, what should I do? Tell me, what should I do? Should I go do this? Should I go do this? Should I be this? And I'm like, no, you should do nothing. I know if someone would have told me this 5 years ago, just 5 years ago, that do nothing, I would have been like, what? What were you talking? If I do nothing, nothing's going to happen. It's again the belief system, what I had. The belief system that I have to do something in order to get something. And don't get me wrong here. It doesn't mean that we're just going to lie down and do nothing. But there is a bigger power inside of us that we put the energy out there and then we wait to come back. But on this gray area where we have lost our identity, like I said, you're somehow like a baby. You have no name. You don't know who you are. You're just existing. Or like you are the soul that has just left the body. And now you're just wandering around in the universe. Because like I said, we've been conditioned to find our value in identity, meaning, clarity. And in this space, we have none of it. We don't know our purpose. We don't know what comes next. We know nothing. So it is a very intense time. And so what to do? And why this is happening? Why do we feel like this? So, like I said, it is an energetic recalibration. It's something integrates inside of you. It's like your energy is getting upgraded. And you have gone through a massive spiritual surgery. Anyone who's going to tell me that twin flame awakening or spiritual awakening, however, is so blissful, it's so beautiful, like, no. I nearly died. And that's why I can very much understand when people are coming to the calls and they are in tears and they are crying and they feel pain, or even on the retreats or any workshops. I know that. Because it nearly killed me. When I had recently a conversation about it, I said, I would never play around with this energy. Never ever. Because it nearly killed me. But it killed me for a reason, to know who I am. So whether through your twin flame journey or your awakening, your old energetic templates, fear, abandonment, unworthiness, shame, attachment, understanding of love, they all have come to the surface and they have cracked open. You have felt it all. When people tell me that, why am I feeling my fear? I'm like, because you're liberating that. And now it's the time to do that. Many of us don't step into the healing just for that reason. And that's why we often go towards alcohol, addictions, all of these kind of things. Because healing feels that we have to face it again. So they are open. Some of has been released, you already got rid of it, but some are still integrating. But you are no longer functioning from the unconscious programs. So now just imagine a little bit of this, that the system that used to run your reality, and we know we create our reality, shut down. Boom, video game is over. Pew, electricity is gone. But the new system, it's not fully installed yet. It's not here. So your body, your mind, your heart, they are in a state of pause. It's like, phew. Have you ever had that feeling for a minute that, let's say, exactly with electricity? You're so used to that, let's say, you're hearing my voice right now, your phone, you can call, you can pay, you can do everything. And all of a sudden, electricity goes out. And then there is a silence. And you can't do much. There's not much you can do. There's just a silence. You can't scroll your phone. You can't call to someone. You can't do things. What happens inside of you in that moment? You feel like, I need the electricity back because I need to cook. I need to do this. I need to have that. So think of the same way what happens in your body. And the old world is somehow gone and the new is about to come. And what is this beautiful, that you actually start to have this, that you are no longer reacting from the old, but you don't know the new either. So you're floating. And it takes a little bit of a time. And now, a lot of times we can ask ourselves, what do I do here? What is the purpose of this time? How can I support myself to be better? And when nothing makes sense. And here is, like I said before, it's not the time to be productive. It is not the time. It's not the time where you have to force to fully do things, because you need to learn to receive. You are not here to force your evolution. Remember, the same with Kundalini energy, with everything. We never force it. We integrating, we embodying it. Like Eckhart Tolle. Those who haven't read The Power of Now this summer, that's or The Alchemist. Two of these books. And I'm going to tell you. I will tell you about The Alchemist again, because you know I always talk about it. Eckhart Tolle has said, the true transformation doesn't happen through doing. It happens through being. And we talk a lot on this journey, how to not to be the chaser, how not to be this. And then, but you hear what I'm saying. We are thinking and we're thinking how not to. But why about we are becoming? And in this gray area where you are right now, you're being asked to return to presence, because the present moment is powerful in many ways. When we are, and that's why this time where you are at moment, it's the one that's going to sculpt your future. If you don't step into being here, and being means sometimes just lying down and doing nothing. Being means going to hug a tree and just be there. And it can be uncomfortable. You might be struggling financially. You might be still feeling that the love is never going to come. But you need to be here. Not doing anything, but being. Another day I had this, and I'm going to say these words are coming from the person who used to believe I have to be responsible for everything. I have to do everything. So I was in it, and that's why for me, when the ego death was there, it nearly killed me, because my ego was so strong of thinking, I have to do. I have to figure this out. I will know what to do. Oh. There is a knowing and knowing, which we talk about it as well. But in truth, it comes from the presence and being, and your manifestation happens in the present moment. That's why the power of now is very powerful to understand. There's no past, there's no future. Everything you wish for will happen right now, but not by doing, by being. I tell you now a story. As of those who listened to my previous podcast episode, I had a beautiful doctor, and I wanted to also say that I know in my community we have a lot of beautiful doctors here. And I just want to say that your job, and nurses as well, your job is amazing. Because when you are spiritually awakened and people come to the hospital, they will feel you and they will feel safe with you. The trust that you're giving for them. I know that there is a system and you need to follow the system. But also your heart will radiate light and trust to them. So just keep doing what you're doing and also connect to your spirit. So anyhow, those who listened to my previous episodes, you heard about my doctor. And my soul has been telling to me that, well, as his soul is very open, very much ready for everything, I wanted to gift him the Alchemist book. But as I live in a country or in Cyprus, where Amazon works, I don't know, here and there, and there aren't many English books. There are Greek books, but not so many English books. And I wanted to give the copy of English book of it. And I was just thinking, so just talking about being. I figured that, okay, I need to order that from Amazon, but I didn't. I kind of had the feeling that it's going to come to me. So I was like, I set an intention that I need that book for my doctor. But how it's going to come, what's going to happen, don't know. It's going to be there. And I'm going to say I was not like this before at all. So don't get me wrong that you're hearing me today saying, oh, it comes so naturally. No, not at all. Before, it was a total opposite. And I went to lie down. I had my meditation session. I think I even had an activation on that day. And then I opened up my Instagram and I see my photographer has posted picture 3 books. That she's on the beach and reading 3 books. And what was the one of the book? The Alchemist. I said, hi, where did you get the Alchemist book? She said, oh, in that city, there's a bookstore and they're selling it. And they have more copies there. I said, wonderful. There you go. There is the book that I need to give it to my doctor. So now again, you can see it from the fact that I set intention and I got an answer. And that's what's going to happen in a gray area. It makes you have to feel the numbness because you need to come to this present moment. I love how Ram Dass also have said, Ram Dass, those who have become to my activation, I use a lot of sometimes Ram Dass music and poetry and all of that. And he has also said that the quieter you become, the more you can hear. Silence has a lot of power. And I know many of you, after retreats, after Vipassana, after energy activation, soul realignment. I just had a girl who did a private soul realignment. You can do the soul realignment on my Patreon by yourself. Works the same way. I'm just going to say if you do one-on-one, you might be more present and it can be more powerful. I actually want to read a little bit what she said, just because it's a similar thing. And she said that the day after our session, I had a little rough day. So much fear was coming to the surface. And I was almost afraid of, oh my God, what did I do? I feared that everything will change, that I will lose everything, that my twin will go separate ways and so on. But then I also remember that I'm so ready for a transformation, that my soul is calling and that I'm deeply guided. So I decided to trust the process and trust myself again. And then she did the surrender workshops. She said that this is her favorite now. So all of these are available on my Patreon. You can do them anytime. I publish and I post things that has changed my life, where I have seen that my energetic imprints have changed and shifted. I'm sure there are many ways of doing things, and you will find your way. But if you resonate some of the things that I'm posting, I'm sharing, you're more than welcome to use them. But why I talk about this, the fact of when we have the fears and the silence comes in, because we hear from there. And this is not the time where we chase for answers, for clarity. Like, why am I feeling this way? When it's going to happen? I feel that my twin is reaching out to me. I would say that this podcast and the previous, if you haven't listened to the previous podcast, listen to the previous. But now it's time to listen. Not with your mind, but with your energy. Listen what your body needs. I was another day on the call with a beautiful soul as well, and she's like, I only want to eat fruits and I want to exercise. I said, exactly. And then do that. Eat fruits and exercise, because your body is so intelligent. So listen to your resistance and your longing. But don't judge them. Don't feel like they are bad. You're not here to analyze your state or label your state. You're here to feel it. You don't need to fix the emptiness. Don't start fixing anything. There are no problems. So let the nervous system that you have heal. Rest, ground, and breathe. Your nervous system is like all of a sudden out of the survival mode. And especially on a twin flame journey, maybe you have spent months, years in trauma response and you didn't even know. Chasing, overthinking, breaking down, rebuilding, fearing abandonment, craving for disconnection, doing everything. So your energy has been in enormous overdrive. And now all of a sudden it's safe. And the body responds in stillness. So anything you can, in a sense of, your job is not here to awaken more, it's to embody what's already awakened. And many times people can say to me that when we talk about the Kundalini energy, it is the most potent energy. My father-in-law another day, he practices every day. He's done it 35 years or something like that. We don't talk much about it because like I always say, once you have found the miracle, once you have found out the magic. Many of people who see my father-in-law, we don't know the exact age of his. Let's say he's 75 plus, somewhere along the lines. He has six-pack. He's complete, like super healthy, super strong, super vital. And he practices every day Kundalini yoga. He walks 20,000 steps a day at least. Everything he does, in a sense. But yesterday he just said to me, like, because they don't know what I do, I don't explain them as much. But he started to tell me that, oh, you know that when you practice the Kundalini yoga, you keep away all the negative energies, or no one has a power over you. And I'm just going to say that, not the next episode, but the episode after, I will tell you what a robot, the AI, because that will be a bit different episode, but it's an interesting episode that's going to be. Anyways, you will be. So what I try to say is that it's not about what is that you need to awaken more. I need to do more. I need to be there. I need to, and the Kundalini is going to get very intense. No, it's embodied to what's already awakened. It's already awakened. You don't need to, but now embody this. Have these sessions. Why? I had that fear for a while that, oh my God, if I activate more of my Kundalini, in a sense of it's going to be even more intense and I'm going to have, because it was scary. We all know it's scary. No, now it works with you because you are on your path. Kundalini puts you in a path. Your twin flame puts you in a path by activating this energy. So good energy work is important. And there is a very interesting what I read another day about it as well. That souls, when the soul is now realigned, awakened inside of you, you've been going out of alignment. That's why soul realignment is very drastic. What I just read you before, that the fear can come up. Oh my God, I'm going to lose everything. But your soul knows that, no, it's okay. And so the process for spiritual awakening must land in your human life. And that process takes a little bit of a time. So the souls take a little bit of time. So in this gray area, you, like I said, you may feel like you have lost complete connection. But in truth, you're actually just taught how to embody your higher self. Not just in your meditations or in your, but in your everyday life. Not that you have to do something. Oh, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to feel myself. I'm going to channel. I'm going to feel myself. I'm going to do this and this and this. No, now it becomes you. But it's in this uncomfortable silence. And many of us, and this is the loop now. I'm going to say this is the loop. Especially after a very long time of pain. You know, you have felt the pain, you feel the misery, you feel all of that. You crave for the next thing. The next high, the next sign, the next aha moment. I get it. Another day, one of the souls who were on the call with me, and I was recommending the book of as well, The Untethered Souls. So I downloaded it quickly because that's one of the book I haven't read yet. I read quite a lot, and somehow this hasn't come to me. And then I felt, oh, she said to me, I'm going to go towards that. And on that book, it's also said that the true path is not about seeking states. It's about releasing resistance to the present one. And the present moment is so important. That's why I'm going to say that in this gray area, actually, this podcast could be just two words. In this gray area, what you're going to be learn or what you're going to embody is the presence. And it's the gray area where your spiritual ego dissolves because you cannot control the timeline. You cannot push the energy. You cannot define your becoming. This stage is what is going to humble you. It teaches you to surrender, not to your twin, not to the story, but to the life itself. And from that surrender, something real is born. So like I said, that email, what I got from a beautiful soul, there was a fear, there was everything, and then she went to do the surrendering workshop. I highly recommend. It's on my Patreon, the latest workshop. Try to see what happens to you. And from this, the new energy, the new timeline, the new frequency is not visible where you are, but it starts to come. It's growing now. And you don't need to do anything to make it happen. Literally, you don't need to do anything. You need to listen only to be here right now, right here, connected. Don't wonder what is your purpose, what's going to come next, what's going to happen, or what you should feel. Come here. Let the new self come to you. Not as a role, not as a label, not as an identity, but let this come to you. And I know it's uncomfortable, but it's not by the force. Remember that. It's not by the force. It's about embodiment. And as comfortable the gray area is, it is where you find the answers in stillness, but not by looking or forcing the answers. I remember when this was going on with me, and I lost a lot of things on my spiritual awakening, a lot. I lost a client of mine, and I felt like, but I was so exhausted, so I didn't care anymore. I was like, if my kids have a meal on the table and I have a roof overhead, it's fine. It's fine. I don't care. It made me so empty that I didn't care anymore. But it wasn't that I didn't care of living. I just didn't care what's coming. I also didn't care if my twin will return or not. But funny enough, on that time, of course, my twin returned. But I was like, when he started to explain me everything what happened to him, I was like, I already knew all of that. I opened up my journals and I was like, I knew it all. So why did I question? What was wrong with me? But of course I questioned and what was wrong with me just because I didn't have the proof. And I was seeking, my ego was seeking for the proof to know what is the next thing, to know what's going to happen, to know when my twin is coming back. So that's why the loop of looking for information is endless. But in that silence where you are right now, in that emptiness, you will actually get your answers by being right now, right here, and nowhere else. So I'm going to say that the previous podcast and this podcast are very much in alignment with one another. And then the next one that is coming is in alignment as well. And I just want to say that you will find this on Spotify. I did a poll on Instagram. I might be doing it again. And I put it up on YouTube as well in a post. And you can share what you think about it. Because we are just talking about not doing anything. And I just want to know, what is your perspective? That do you believe that you can, especially when we talk about energy and frequencies, do you believe that we can make someone energetically or through like black magic or whatever, to make someone to fall in love with us, to force them to come to us and make them to love us by shifting your frequency, by shifting their, like going into their energetic field, by sending them a lot of love, thinking of them, like with a force. You will see the question on the Spotify. You have a poll and you have it on YouTube as well on this post, and you can share what do you think about it. And then I will talk about this on my next episode. And so those of you who would like to know, can we force someone to fall in love with us? Can we force someone to see us as a love? And I will talk about this on the next episode. And then there is one more episode that comes out. And this is now a little bit special. So those of you who want to listen, make sure you will like and subscribe. Because that episode will be from the AI, from the ChatGPT. And I will tell you something. And you can ask the same questions and see. So anyhow, it will be a little bit different episode. And then we have a Lionsgate. I'm going to say on 2nd and 3rd of August, those who are a Patreon members, you can join for the Abundance Kriyas. We will be doing the Jupiter Kriya and we will be doing the Abundance Kriya. I remember with both times when we did an Abundance Kriya in Costa Rica retreat, we had when we were in our group, all of the iguanas came down right after this and they were like, wow, you created something magical. And then another day, me and my assistant, we stayed longer in Costa Rica, and then we were at the beach and she said, could you please teach me as well? And I said, of course. And we did that. We were activating our energies over there, and we did a 3 minutes one only. And a man walks up to us with a plate full of fruits and says, this is for you girls. So how to receive, how the abundance, and abundance is not only money, finance, all of that. Abundance is health, wealth, friendships, information, connections. All of that is in your life, is in abundance. And so sometimes you can have a lot of money, but you might be lacking out of the good friendships or love, that you don't reach to the love. Or sometimes you can attract love, but then it stays behind the finance, because you're valuing. So there are a lot of aspects and they are all connected, which I will talk about also in my podcast, how abundance, frequency, what it is, and how you're elevating this inside of you. Because that's where it all begins. So 2nd and 3rd of August, but then 8th of August, we have a live online sessions. Like I said, the tickets are sold out. Unless I'm finding more facilitators to come on the session, that we are more there, that we can individually focus on you and help you to connect with this amplified energy. It's the most powerful time. I know that last year, many of you had a huge impact on their life. I even received, I think, 3 messages from when the moment I said that Lionsgate tickets are sold out, and I received, last year it worked like the magic to me. I am back. Can I get the ticket? I was like, of course. So twinflameawakeningjourney.com, you have the tickets over there. But even if you cannot join mine, do something. Although I'm just going to say, my heart is breaking that not all of my community can join. So inside of me, I have a feeling that on the 3rd, we will be doing already an activation along the side as well of the abundance. I'll let you know. Because you deserve it. You deserve it. Whoever shows up deserves the best. So anyways, I am very, very happy that you are here. And we are having a Leo moon, so don't forget to step into the best possible ways. Mantra singing, connecting through meditation, everything will help you. Don't miss that. Don't miss that portal. For me, our 2 portals of the year, one is in Mahashivaratri, and the other one is now here in the Lionsgate, which is a new year for me. However, so just like I said, there are a few things. So those who wish to book the call and the session, you can do even a private activation, which I also recommend. Of course, twinflameawakeningjourney.com. All of the information is in the bio over here. You can connect, book. Just listen to your soul. Listen what your soul is telling you, why, and let it happen. And remember, the silence will pass and you will feel in alignment within you. Don't feel you need to do something. Let it happen. In silence, stillness, loneliness, emptiness. You're getting there. Lots of love and lots of light.
And just for a second, you're looking at me, making me feel like maybe you want this too. Give me your attention. Trying to breathe, but the air feels just like water. You're making me weak now. What doesn't kill you makes you. Our hands touch once or twice. We should let them intertwine. I'm looking at you and I feel the tension. You know, this could be like heaven. I am right here, doing my best to make you feel like I do. Looking at you, I'm trying to get your attention. Can I come close? I don't know how to play this. You know, this could be like heaven. I am right here, doing my best to make you feel like I do. And just for a second, you're looking at me, making me feel like maybe you want this too. Give me your attention.